So hi guys, as you can see there's a plane, and we get a lot of them flying over on my way. And sometimes they do like an engine stall just as a practice, and then have to glide for a bit and then restart. Normally lasts about 10 seconds or so, and off they go. But this was very different.
I think they do that though, don't they?
Yeah, practice, but not normally over public places.
No, sometimes when they got a student in there, they have to do a stall one, don't they?
They also do it when they run out of fuel.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it flew around a bit, gliding down and down and down for a good minute. So I legged it down through a wooded area out into the fields, as you'll see in a second, but you managed to get it going. Yeah, so obviously maybe a stall gone wrong or an issue with the engine for a few seconds. Yeah, I'd imagine if that was a practice, it was a very, very daring one, because they were down to maybe 150 feet at the lowest they got down to. You know, not much above the trees really. So anyway, I carried on with my walk. So anyway, I basically had a wander out in the fields and around Bodiam Castle. I hasn't been there for a while, so I had a little wander around. You see the ducks are busy looking for food. It was pretty cool though, or she rather. Just looking around. But I thought while I'm there, there's plenty of bugs this year, like bugs everywhere. So I thought, I know, I'm gonna shoot a little bit of slow motion HFR. It was a little bit windy, it turned out to be a little bit annoying, and some sort of close-up stuff with sort of 600 millimeters to get the closest view on some of the bugs and things like that. But as you can see here, to try and keep in focus the bee there, I'm actually moving backwards and forwards, trying to stay in time with the actual flower and the bee, but I'm not doing very well. So I had to basically, I moved around to the other side. So basically, the flower was moving left and right rather than backwards and forwards all the time. So on the next clip you'll see. But yeah, even though it doesn't really look like nothing's moving, I'm actually, because I'm moving backwards and forwards with it, trying to keep everything in focus. But obviously didn't really work very well. Because once you shoot an HFR or the high speed mode, basically you are locked focus and locked your exposure and everything like that. So basically it's down to you to move backwards and forwards to keep whatever's in focus if you're hand holding, for example. So it was a bee. Again, I'm trying to do the same situation, but for some reason I'm shooting very low. I don't know what I'm doing there, but yeah, for some reason I didn't track the bee all that well. But just show you that nothing's perfect, and no one's 100% all the time. Just thought I'd put that in because those two clips are not that great really. But you know, plenty of bugs around, plenty of bees, which was great. Lots of bumblebees, lots of other honeybees, and some other insects as well, wasps and other types. This was quite cool. So I finally managed to get one in focus. So I'm actually focused on the bee in the background, behind this front flower, and managed to keep him in focus even though he's drifting round behind, which was kind of cool. So almost like peekaboo as he came through round that side. So that worked quite nicely, but it was just a case of perseverance, and it's always windy when I'm trying to do sort of macro style shots, you know, close up stuff, which was kind of annoying. But blackberries are coming, which is really nice. They're pretty tasty. Having a little wander around, picking the odd one or two, and have a little munch. So you can tell we are midsummer heading into autumn. The acorns are growing rather well as well. So that's shot at 24mm wide angle. Some nice lovely bokeh in the background, and it was more the HFR video actually I was trying to shoot quite a bit of. So this one here, you can see me moving around a bit, but also the flowers actually moving a little bit as well. But it's so cool seeing bees and other insects flying around, and how they come off a flower sort of a bit wobbly and then sort of stabilise themselves. It's pretty cool. So they were shot at 500 frames per second, by the way. This shot here, not in focus, the little thing gliding down there, the seed, but it was one of those moments of just try and get it and see what happens. This shot here I quite like. So I'm guessing these are some kind of thistle style flower, but the insects are loving those. But as you can see, as soon as he's out of the depth of my sort of settings, easily out of focus. So I was shooting actually wide open f4 there, but I then stopped down the lens at 600mm down to f6.3. F5.6 was working quite well, but f6.3 just gave me a little bit more depth. As you can see here, this bee is much more in focus. Everything seems a little bit sharper, generally because there's more depth, and it worked quite well. As you can see though, as soon as he changes direction and obviously moves into the distance, he's straight out of focus. But most of that plant is in. So another shot here of a butterfly. Really, really pleased. There was hundreds of butterflies everywhere. There was grasshoppers, bees, flies, damselflies, loads and loads of different insects. So it was really, really good to little wander around basically and look in the wild flower beds, things like that. So, but as you can see here, this is being blown around quite a bit. But having the lens stopped down quite a bit there was actually quite good. This shot here, I say overexposed it for the time. You see that fly coming there and actually check out the bee and then decides to go away. This is overexposed a little bit, but actually the bee's not too bad. But the background, the sunlight just came out and super bright, where it had been pretty overcast for the last 10 minutes or so. So my shutter speed and aperture and everything was wrong, but it still worked quite well. So that was quite cool. But yeah, so as you can see, more insects flying around. But like I say, it's a bit overexposed, but that's just due to the sun coming out halfway through the shot. So I couldn't really change that. The butterfly there. Lots of these butterflies sort of hiding in the grass. And as soon as you walk, you can't see them. As soon as you walk through, they sort of move. This guy was cool. Managed to get a couple of shots of him. It's all sort of 600mm f4, f5.6. This shot here, this flower on your right hand side was blown around all over the place, but this bee came off to the left, which is quite cool. Here, another, I think this is a damselfly in the middle there. This is shooting through on a small spot, or a small flexible spot, straight through a load of grass. And as you can see, I actually got a little bit closer, didn't go too close, still about 10 feet away. As you can see, all the grass I'm shooting through and it's still focusing absolutely fine. This here, I believe is some kind of wasp. It's a tiny little thing, probably about, I don't know, 5mm long. And here's the difference between shooting when the sun's gone in a little bit, natural light, f4, and this is the difference between natural light plus flash just to fill in. Much clearer image, much sharper, all shot in manual, but worked really nicely. And here's Mr. Fish, who was one of the fish. There was one jumping out, and I remember last time I actually got a shot in the moat of one of the fish jumping right out, and I think this was the one it was. He seemed very active, but yeah, he wasn't playing ball. One of them had jumped out a couple of times when I wasn't sort of prepared, and that was it, guys. So hopefully another time I'll catch another fish jumping out. Would be really cool. But until then, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the little notification bell. Any questions about the RX10 Mark IV, A7R3, A7R4, A9, stuff like that, give us a shout. Don't mind helping. That's it, guys. I'll see you soon.